Welcome to Moonfall Inn. Welcome to Moonfall Inn. I'm your night keeper, Thomas. No matter what you've been through today, there is always a lamp lit for you here. Now, hand your weariness to me, and let us slowly enter tonight's story. Close your eyes and let your breath grow deep and steady. Feel the bed beneath you, soft, warm, like an invisible arm gently drawing you into its embrace. Tonight, we will travel together to a quiet river, a river glinting with silver, under the moonlight, flowing through ancient forests, around sleeping towns, until it vanishes at the edge of the horizon. And on the bank of that river, a small glass bottle is waiting for us to find it. I am your host, Thomas, and tonight's story is called Memories by the River, Starlight in a Glass Bottle. Let us take a moment to settle more deeply into bed, to relaxation, to the gentle dream that is about to unfold. Take a deep breath in, feel the cool night air, slowly fill your lungs, carrying a hint of distant flowers. Then exhale slowly, completely, letting all the tension and the tiredness of the day leave your body with that breath. Once more, breathe in deeply, feel your abdomen rise gently with the air, and then breathe out, allowing the lower half of your body, your legs, your ankles, your toes, to grow heavier, more relaxed. Your arms and hands are also releasing all the pressure they have been holding, like loosening a fistful of sand held too long, letting each grain fall softly away. Your shoulders drop, your neck is no longer stiff, your jaw eases open slightly, and every muscle in your face finds its most natural resting position. Now you only need to listen, only need to breathe, only need to be here, in this safe, warm space that belongs only to you, slowly letting go of everything. Imagine you are standing on a small path. It is not wide, just enough for two people to walk side by side. The path is made of fine gravel and the occasional exposed tree root. On both sides, tall grass grows, its tips swaying gently in the breeze, making a rustling sound like distant whispers. The sky is darkening, not with a sudden darkness, but with a slow, tender transition, from pale blue to soft purple, from soft purple to grey blue, and finally a deep indigo brushed along the tips of the trees. The air holds the scent of damp earth and the faint sweetness of some flower in the distance. You cannot tell which flower, but the fragrance is so light you have to reach for it, yet strong enough to remind you of some long ago warm summer dusk. You walk along the path, unhurried, your shoes crunch on the gravel in a rhythmic, gentle sound, unusually clear in the quiet air, yet disturbing nothing. To your left is an open meadow, and at its edge a dense forest, the trees' branches and leaves melting into dark silhouettes in the twilight. To your right is a river. You have not seen it yet, but you already hear its voice, a constant, low murmur, like the earth humming softly to itself. The water seems neither fast nor slow. It has its own rhythm, its own melody, and that melody gradually synchronizes with your heartbeat, making your breathing also grow steady and long. You walk on, and the path begins to slope gently downward, guiding you toward the river. The gravel surface slowly gives way to softer earth, marked with shallow footprints, perhaps deer, perhaps foxes. You do not know, but you feel a strange connection, as if every creature in this land is searching for the same peace by the same river. The grass grows taller, almost reaching your knees, and you feel the blades lightly brush your trousers, catching a touch of coolness and the dampness of dew. The sky has grown darker, but a final trace of light still clings to the edges of the clouds, painting them with a faint rose gold. Stars are beginning to appear, not many, just the brightest ones, like tiny pinpricks in deep blue velvet, letting the light behind shine through. Now you have reached the river bank. It is not steep, but a gentle slope, covered with soft moss and smooth pebbles. The water flows before you, perhaps a dozen paces across. On the far side, the forest is denser, the outlines of the trees nearly invisible in the night, except for their wavering reflections in the water. The river itself is dark, almost black, but the ripples on its surface catch the last glimmers of light from the sky, flickering in tiny silver-white points. You crouch down and hold one hand just above the water, feeling the coolness rise from the river and to your palm. A clean, fresh coolness, not the biting cold of winter, but the bracing comfort of an autumn breeze. You walk slowly along the bank, your footsteps making soft clicking sounds on the pebbles. The sound of the water is clearer here. You can distinguish its layers. The gurgle of water flowing around stones, the soft rush over a shallow riffle, the deeper rumble where the river gathers into a small pool farther away. These sounds interweave like a lullaby, without words, each note inviting you to let go of more defenses and sink into deeper relaxation. You feel your thoughts becoming soft, like cotton warmed by sunlight. Those tangled, persistent thoughts from the day are slowly unraveling, turning into thin, transparent threads, then drifting away on the wind, disappearing into the mist above the river. You walk a short distance, perhaps only a few dozen paces, and then you stop, because your foot has touched something, not a stone, not a branch, but something different, with a clearer sound. You look down, and by the faint starlight, you see a glass bottle. It lies among the pebbles, half buried in the damp sand, and its surface coated with dirt and water stains, but you can still make out its shape. Round, sturdy, like a small pumpkin. Around its neck is tied a faded ribbon. You cannot tell the color, perhaps blue, perhaps green, but in this light it is only a pale grey. You crouch and gently lift the bottle from the sand. It feels cool, cooler than the stones on the bank, but that coolness is pleasant, like a piece of jade washed by a stream. You can feel that something is inside, not liquid, but something lighter, drier, making a fainter rustling sound. As you tilt the bottle, you wipe the dirt from the glass with your palm. The glass is not completely clear. It has a faint green tint, like looking through a young leaf. The neck is sealed with a cork, slightly cracked, but still tight. You hesitate. After all, this belongs to someone else, perhaps left intentionally, perhaps lost by accident. But curiosity nudges you gently, and you tell yourself that maybe the bottle holds a story waiting to be rediscovered. So you slowly, carefully pull out the cork. It comes with a soft pop, unusually crisp in the quiet night, and then the moist air of the river rushes into the bottle, mingling with an old-aged fragrance, like old paper, dried flowers, and a hint of spice. You tilt the bottle and let the contents slide into your palm. It is a roll of a paper, tightly wound into a long, thin cylinder, tied with a thin piece of twine. The paper has yellowed, its edges brittle, but it is otherwise well preserved. No tears, no water damage. You carefully untie the twine and slowly unroll the paper. It makes a faint crackling sound, like dry leaves crumbling underfoot. The writing is handwritten, in deep blue ink, neat and elegant, carrying an old-fashioned charm. The ink has faded somewhat, but every word is still readable. You hold the paper, and by the starlight and the reflections from the river you begin to read. The letter begins, "To you who found this bottle, if you are reading these words, then know that you are not alone." You take a deep breath, feeling a strange warmth spread from your chest. The letter continues, "My name is Iris. I wrote this letter sitting on the porch of my grandfather's old cabin, looking at the same river you are looking at now. I do not know its name. My grandfather did not know it either. He said that rivers do not need names, just as the wind does not need a name. But I want you to know that this river has been flowing for 10,000 years. It has seen glaciers born and melt away, forests burn and grow again, and countless people like me sitting on its bank and trusting their thoughts to the current. And you are also one brief moment in the river's long life. But this moment is precious because you are reading my words, and I imagined your existence a long, long time ago. You feel as if you are sitting beside the writer, across the river of time, across countless days and nights, that you can feel the mood she had when she wrote these words. You continue reading. I put this bottle into the river on an autumn afternoon. The day was cool. The wind came from the north, carrying the scent of pine and dry hay. Leaves floated on the river, red, yellow, brown, like tiny boats, carrying the memories of summer toward winter. I sat on the bank for a long time, watching those leaves spin, bump into each other, separate, and finally disappear around a bend. I thought, maybe one day this bottle will drift to a place I will never know, and be picked up by hands I will never meet. And if those hands are yours, if you are the eyes reading these words, then I want to tell you a few small beautiful things about this world. The letter is long. The handwriting fills both sides of the paper in dense lines. You sit down, leaning your back against a large stone smoothed by the river. Bring the paper closer and read word by word. The first thing Iris wrote about is sound. I want to tell you about sounds, she wrote. Not the loud, big sounds, not thunder, not the roar of a waterfall, not the pop of fireworks during a festival. I want to tell you about the sounds that are almost inaudible, the sounds that only emerge when you are quiet. For example, when you sit alone in a forest and close your eyes, you can hear the roots slowly growing in the soil. It is an extremely fine, continuous rustling, like silkworms eating mulberry leaves, or snowflakes landing on a down jacket. Most people never hear these sounds because they are always moving, always talking, always thinking about the next thing. But if you are willing to stop, truly stop, you will discover that the earth has a language, that the trees breathe, and even stones under the moonlight emit a low, humming resonance. That sound is like a huge ancient cello, playing the same note in the depths of the world, never stopping. As you listen to the river, you suddenly feel that Iris is right. You had never noticed before, but now, when you place all your attention on listening, you truly hear more. Not only the water, but also the soft call of an owl in the distance, the tiny chirping of insects in the grass, and your own heartbeat, slow and strong, like a distant drum. These sounds weave together into a harmony that words cannot describe. Not noisy, not intrusive, simply existing, like a soft blanket wrapping around you. You turn the paper over. Iris then wrote about smell. I want to tell you about smells, she wrote. Every smell in the world is a door. For example, the smell of fresh bread takes you back to your grandmother's kitchen, where the oven was always warm. A pot of basil sat on the windowsill, and the air was filled with the sweet fragrance of butter and sugar. The smell of rain-soaked earth takes you back to your childhood playground, wearing rubber boots, jumping in puddles, splashing water on your face, laughing so loudly that the whole world seemed to laugh with you. And there is one smell that I don't know how to describe. A mix of pine needles and moss, with a hint of smoke and a little honey sweetness. This smell exists only in deep autumn woods, just after sunset when the air turns cool and crisp. If you breathe in deeply, you will feel that smell enter your nostrils, travel into your chest, and then spread out, like a tiny warm seed planted in your memory. From then on, no matter where you are, no matter how many years pass, if you happen to smell it again on an autumn evening, you will instantly return to this moment, to this riverbank, to this quiet, secluded instant. You put down the letter and take a deep breath. The air by the river does have a unique smell, not pine, not moss, but a mixture of water, stone, damp earth, and the distant fragrance of some flower. You cannot give it a name, but you realize that from now on, that smell will forever be connected to you, a part of your memory, an anchor that you can summon on any future night to return to this very moment. The third thing Iris wrote about was light. I want to tell you about light, she wrote. Not sunlight. Sunlight is too direct, it illuminates everything, leaving no shadows. I mean the hesitant light, the shy light. For example, the moment just before dawn, when the sky is still deep blue, but a faint, almost invisible warmth appears on the eastern horizon. That is a promise, telling you that the night will not last forever, that warmth will come. Another example is moonlight, filtering through layers of leaves, falling to the ground as countless tiny trembling spots of light. Those spots are like silver coins, but more precious than any coin, because they exist for only an instant. A breeze blows, the leaves move, the spots vanish, then reappear somewhere else. And there is a kind of light that you create yourself. When you close your eyes and press your eyelids gently with your fingertips, you will see a red, flowing sea of light, full of whirlpools, waves, and twinkling stars. That sea of light belongs only to you. No one else can see it. No one else can take it away. It is your universe, your secret, your private galaxy. You close your eyes and press your eyelids gently with your fingertips. Sure enough, you see the sea of light Iris described, a deep, red, warm, ever-changing pattern, like the aurora seen from a great distance, or like the flow of blood beneath your own eyelids. You feel a strange peace, as if you are floating inside your own body, held aloft by an ancient and gentle power. In the final paragraph of the letter, Iris wrote, "I do not know where this river will carry this letter. Perhaps it will snag on water wheat and sink forever to the bottom. Perhaps it will drift into the sea and be torn apart by waves. Perhaps it will wash up on some uninhabited shore and slowly crumble into dust. But it may also come into your hands. If you are reading these words, then I would like you to do one thing. By this river, at this very moment, find a smooth, flat stone. Hold it in your palm, close your eyes, and think of a thank you that you have always wanted to say but never did. Then throw the stone into the river. Listen to the plop, watch the splash, rise and fall. Watch the ripples spread, one circle after another, growing larger and fainter until they disappear. Then you will understand that your thank you has sunk with the stone to the riverbed. But the river keeps flowing, and it will carry your thank you everywhere, to every stone, every fallen leaf, every fish. Your thank you will not vanish. It will simply become part of the water, part of the gentle nature of this world. You open your eyes and look down at the bank, and indeed, right by your foot, there is a flat, smooth stone, pale grey, with a few dark veins running across it like a miniature map. You pick it up and hold it in your palm. The stone is cool, heavy, but with a reassuring texture. You close your eyes and search your mind for that unspoken thank you. Perhaps it is a thank you to someone, perhaps to a moment, perhaps simply to the world, for allowing you to sit here at this moment, listening to the river, holding a stone, reading a letter from the past. You do not need to say the thank you out loud. You do not even need to identify its object. You only need to feel that warm, swelling emotion spread through your chest, like a flower slowly opening. Then you swing your arm back and throw the stone forward into the river. You hear the crisp plop. The splash flashes for an instant in the darkness, and then ripples begin to spread. One circle, then another, growing larger and larger, fainter and fainter, until the water becomes smooth and mirror-like again. You feel a wonderful release, as if something has been lifted from your shoulders, carried away by the water, to a place far away, a place you can never reach but know exists. You look down at the letter again. At the very bottom, there is another line of small handwriting, smaller and lighter than the rest, as if Iris added it at the last moment. She wrote, "Finally, remember, every bottle is a story, and every story deserves to be heard. And right now, your story is also being heard by someone, perhaps by the future you, perhaps by this river, perhaps only by the brightest star in the night sky. So, do not be afraid of loneliness, because you have never been alone." You roll the paper back up, tie it tightly with the twine, and carefully place it back into the glass bottle. You put the cork back in, not too tight this time, because you hope that one day, another person walking along this river, another person seeking peace, might also find this bottle, read Iris's words, and feel the same calm and warmth that you feel now. You place the bottle back where you found it, half buried in the sand, only the neck and the faded ribbon showing, glinting faintly under the stars. You stand up and brush the sand from your clothes. The river continued to flow. The owl still called softly in the distance. The insects still hum in the grass. Nothing has changed, but everything is different. You feel your body lighter, your breath deeper, your thoughts more like a river, smooth, natural, not resisting any turn. You walk back slowly along the path you came, even more slowly than before, because you are not in a hurry to leave this place. You pass the tall grass, the blades leaving traces of dew on your legs. You pass the open meadow, the starlight spreading a thin silver veil over the grass. You step onto the gravel path, the crunch echoing in the night like an ancient gentle metronome. Finally, you return to your room, to your bed. You lie between the soft pillows and blankets, feeling a deep, profound weariness. Not an irritable tiredness, but a content, peaceful tiredness. Like after a long, beautiful walk, or after finishing a wonderful book you could not put down. Your eyelids grow very heavy, your breathing becomes slow and long, and your thoughts begin to flow like the river, slowly, gently, becoming softer and softer. If you enjoyed tonight's story, if you found a moment of peace by the glass bottle by the river, then Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss our next walk along the river, our next late night story. Now, let the murmur of the river accompany you to sleep. Let Iris's words echo softly in your dreams. Good night. May you wake with your own glass bottle inside your heart, filled with starlight and stillness.